Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Aston Williams coming to you live again with another amazing episode of the Melanated Travelers Podcast. And y'all already know we the number one travel podcast in the world for a reason because we share stories for us and by us. We share tips, we share advice, we share travel inspiration by amazing business owners and amazing content creators and travelers and wanderers from all over the globe. So I have a special guest in the building. This one here really hits home for me, and y'all gonna learn why it hits home. I got Jenaire Jeffrey, aka Jen, on right now. Super excited to have her on. How you doing today, Queen?
How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's just dive straight into it. First and foremost, I want people to understand that you're actually the first person that I've interviewed that's local to the area that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, let's just say this. Let's just get this out the way. I know everybody talks about New Orleans. People talk about Baton Rouge, the best food. And when it comes to culture and food, ain't nobody messing with the Paris. Let me just get that out the way.
Nobody.
Let me just
Nobody.
get that out the way.
Nobody at all.
So based on that, for y'all, just to give y'all some demographic is, the Tri Parish, the River Parish is, in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, St. James Parish, you got St. Charles Parish, you got St. John's Parish, along the Mississippi River. So we come from very humble beginnings, and that's why I'm so happy to have you on. So we can just kind of let people know, dive into the mindset of, especially where we come from. What gave you like this inspiration to want to, to want to travel the world? Because most people, our family, we talked about it off the record.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our family hasn't been further than Texas, and most haven't been further east than Georgia. So what made you want to say, you know what? Like, I'm tired of seeing it in the book. I just want to get out there and explore.
Just that I want to get out and explore. Like I want to see different things. I knew life was bigger than Bashry. And I love where I'm from, but I knew life was bigger than Bashry and I wanted to see it for myself.
Definitely. What was your first country that you ever visited?
Jamaica.
All right.
Jamaica.
A little Stella got her groove back. All right. Okay.
Yep.
It's a lot of
Jamaica.
Winstons down there.
Twice actually in 1 year.
Come on.
The same year, yep. I went back to back. And I really enjoyed Jamaica. Jamaica is beautiful. I will say. I'm gonna have to go back because the two times I went, I was pregnant. I was pregnant that year that I went to Jamaica. So I didn't enjoy the food. However, everybody I went with, they did enjoy the food. I want to go back so I can enjoy the food.
Gotcha. Some oxtails. Like,
Yeah,
let's dive.
oxtail. So
Yeah.
I need to go back while I'm not pregnant.
Gotcha. So, like with Jamaica, we start off with Jamaica. So, like with Jamaica, like that being your first country, how did it feel? Like just the experience, from the flight from boarding that plane to going to some uncharted areas that you just never would have thought of, but going. Even though people might say, well, oh yeah, well, it's a highly populated destination, people visit there, but everybody experience is different. So, how
Right.
was your experience?
The first time I went with my line sisters. So, like you said, every experience is different. So, that experience was very nice, was very subtle, relaxing. They did excursions, but again, I was pregnant, so I couldn't. So it was more of a relaxed thing for me. Very low key, relaxing. We enjoyed it. We really did. It was a beautiful place. I don't remember exactly what hotel we stayed in because this was years ago, almost 7 years ago. So I don't exactly remember where we stayed, but I know it was beautiful. I just remember being on the beach just about the whole time. The water was so clear, so pretty, so pretty. The second time I went, again, I don't remember exactly where we stayed, but again, beautiful. This time I was again pregnant, so I couldn't do much, but I did do like Dunn's Fall River. So beautiful. Actually, at that time I didn't know I was pregnant, so I did zip lining in Dunn's Fall River. If you ever visit Jamaica, make sure you put that on your to-do list. Do not skip Dunn's Fall River and zip lining. It's just something about zip lining in Jamaica it stands out. I kid you not. That was my first time zip lining, and I haven't had an experience quite like it yet.
Gotcha. Now y'all stayed on a resort. Did y'all venture out Most people would say, oh, don't leave the resort. Don't. You don't want to get yourself in danger. And I say that like this, right?
But
But
we did venture out, but it was with the tour. So like we did do the Bob Marley tour, but of course pregnant, so can't do much. I didn't know the first time I went that I was pregnant. I found out at the end of the trip. But thankfully I didn't smoke anything, or I think I might have had some drinks. But
you didn't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. But the second time I didn't leave the resort the second time I went. I was, further along at that point, so I didn't leave the resort that time. But my
Gotcha,
line
gotcha.
sisters did.
Because the reason why I brought that up is because every traveler is different, and my first country was El Salvador, and I was
Mm-hmm.
nervous as hell at that time.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, I didn't speak Spanish, and most people would say, like, with that being your first country, you should have got a hotel. I didn't. I got an Airbnb. You know,
Really?
I got an Airbnb in El
Look,
Salvador. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know. And I hope you can clip this out. But is blurry on your end? Does that matter?
No, no, you good. You
Okay.
good. It's gonna be crisp by the time we
Okay.
done. No, we
All
not
right.
gonna cut it out. It's raw and authentic.
No, cut it out. I might want you to cut out the part about me being pregnant and drinking too.
Nah, we good. We good.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, I got an Airbnb. Like I didn't even think about getting a hotel. Like I was like, I wanna reside where the locals are. And what's
Mm-hmm.
crazy is, El Salvador having the name that it had, it
Mm-hmm.
makes you think like, damn, Aston, like you tripping. But nah, I mean the place, and for those listening, it's been a while since I posted El Salvador content. Remind me in the comments. So the ones people that follow or listen, whenever I get the content out there, to go ahead on and post like the Airbnb that I stayed at,
Mm-hmm.
the view. It was absolutely amazing. It was absolutely amazing. That first trip changed my life. So how was your mindset after that first? Like you went twice, so obviously, that
I want to go.
perspective
I
really
want to
changed.
travel. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I want to travel. This is something I want to do often, and I've been doing it quite often. So
definitely,
like,
definitely,
I really enjoy traveling. I really do. I honestly do. I think traveling is like I guess I would call it my safe place. Like it's my go-to. Like my life could be flipped upside down. I'm gonna say, let's book a trip.
definitely, definitely. And it's therapy. It's therapy.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's different.
Hmm.
I've heard people say you see the same thing everywhere you go. You really don't, though. You really don't.
You don't.
It's so much you can do, no matter where you go. So it's always about what you make of it.
For sure, for sure. I gotta bring this up. I gotta bring this up. Even though I got a Colombia hat on.
Hmm.
But one of my favorite countries that I've ever been to, one of my favorite, besides Colombia, y'all, is Peru. I love Peru. How was Peru? How was your experience? Did Peru shock you? Because when you look at it on the map, where we from, that's out the way. You really gone. You gone.
Listen, I'm gonna be
You gone.
honest with you. When I got that phone call, I was like, Peru. I don't know nothing about Peru. Never heard of it. So I was like, yeah, let's go. It was a business call on my end for that one. So I had never heard of it. I was like, but sure, I'll go. It was a business call for me. I went for Peru Travel Mart. I'm a travel agent, so I went to meet some vendors. Peru 2026. Be on the lookout. Group trip dropping. I'm hosting. Y'all join me. It was different. I went and did the local. I always try to do like local tours and stuff just to see how they are living, see what they're eating. I did a cooking class, a drink class. I visited the local food market. I taste their fruit. Some of them were good, some of them wasn't. You can find it on my Facebook page and I think my TikTok page. Some of them, let's just say I wish we had it here in Louisiana because it's all natural. It helps you go the way you need to go. It moves your system the way it needs to move. I'll say that. And he did warn me about that. Beautiful place. It was kind of cold, even though I went in late September. It was kind of cold in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting that.
The seasons are opposite, actually. I'm glad you brought that up.
Really? Oh, see, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Again, I didn't know
yeah.
anything about Peru, so I went off a whim, off a whim. Like, let's go. I just was excited because it was another country, something different. I didn't get to explore like I would have liked to, again, because it was for a business call. I did get to see a very nice museum out there, and their museum is different. Their museum, you know how our museum is more, I guess you can say, like art type.
Uh-huh.
Theirs is like what's the word? Sculpture type stuff.
Yeah, I
Which was,
got you. More like mosaic, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was different. It was different, but very nice, very subtle. Their local food market that I went to, different, outside in the street, lined up. And they sell everything out there from bread to fruit, fish. They eat a lot of raw fish. So to me, if you're the type that likes sushi, Peru is the spot for you. For me, it was a no-go. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't get with the raw. I
So you
can't
didn't, so you
get with the,
like ceviche.
no, I did not. I did. That was one of the meals I
Because that's
cooked.
that's the famous, that's one of their
That's,
famous,
yes.
yeah.
That was one of the meals I cooked. But I looked at that and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, baby, you gotta take me to KFC. I was like, you have to take me to KFC because I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
So you had a short. I'm glad you brought that up. So you had a short trip, and what I like
Hmm.
about Peru, I didn't have a short trip in Peru. I actually
You had
spent
two
I
weeks,
spent
huh?
I spent like 2 weeks in Peru. I
Mm-hmm.
love Lima so much that I went ahead and changed my date.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a travel hack for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where I'm going, I don't book a round trip. I just book a one-way ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Most countries don't trip. Like you go to El Salvador, they're gonna make sure that you have a return ticket before you even walk through customs. But certain countries don't do that. So like for Peru, I just booked a one-way ticket to Lima.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jen.
Stayed
I
in
fell in
Lima.
love with Lima. I fell in love with Lima.
I stayed in Lima as well while I was
I
there.
fell in love
It
with
was
Lima.
nice.
And did you have a chance to go to the art district like Barranco district?
No.
Yeah, that district there. So for those that don't know, Barranco is the art district of Peru. So
Mm-hmm.
many different murals, beautiful parks. It's right there by the sea. Amazing restaurants for you to try, ceviche for you to try. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think
Did
it's
you try
called.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tried ceviche. Yeah,
You
I
liked
tried
it?
it raw with the nuts and everything. Yeah, yeah. I tried it raw. And it's a place in Barranco. Y'all gotta remind me to give y'all the name. It's slipping me right now, but Jen, look, I know we got good food where we from.
And
The
I think
best
that's
cinnamon roll I ever tasted in my life.
really
Facts. Best cinnamon roll I ever tasted in my life was in Peru. Oh my god.
Peru.
Absolutely amazing. And believe it or not, their food is actually like top 5 in the world.
And that's what they kept telling me. They had really good, they're known for their food.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. They're known for their food. That's what a lot of people that came in contact with. That's the main thing they said. We're known for our food. Make sure you try our food. But again, I was confined to one spot pretty much. I didn't leave out of Lima because I had meetings every day. The few days that I was there, so I didn't get to explore like I wanted to. However, when I return, God say the same in 2026, I'll be back in Lima, and I'm probably about to butcher this. Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I was there. Yep. I had a chance to go. It was
Did you go
absolutely
to
amazing.
Rainbow Mountain?
I did not do Rainbow Mountain. I didn't. I didn't
Okay.
have time. I didn't have
Okay.
so let just to give you some background, y'all some background. I love Lima so much
Mm-hmm.
that I stayed in Lima for a week. I booked Machu Picchu. I don't recommend this. Don't book it at the last minute.
No.
I booked Machu Picchu at the last minute, right? I booked the Airbnb in Cusco. I flew to Cusco. But when I went in July of last year, I didn't know that the seasons was opposite. Listen, you're gonna struggle to breathe. It's cold as hell. I recommend that y'all get cocoa leaves to help y'all open up your chest because the altitude is high. It's high.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely, but it's a beautiful city.
It
But
is.
when I booked the Airbnb, the Airbnb host actually owned the travel agency as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to help me, get set up with Machu Picchu, the train, the whole experience. I just recommend everybody to get the whole experience, like, to catch the bus, to catch the bus, to catch the train, and then when you get down to the valley of the mountain, which is Agua Calientes,
Mm-hmm.
that's the town before you ascend up to Machu Picchu. It's the reason why it's one of the seven wonders of the world. Right now, that's the only one that I've seen so far. I got a few lined up for next year. I'm super excited to get that checked out. But Machu Picchu is top notch. Peru is just top notch. I didn't get a chance to go to the desert city.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to do that. I didn't get a chance to sandboard. I didn't get a chance to go to Rainbow Mountain.
We have that on our
Yeah, but I
itinerary.
did I did hike Lake Umantai. I
You
did
did.
hike that. So the pictures
Okay.
that you see, for y'all that have seen my images of
Mm-hmm.
me on the lake, that's in Peru as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, it's beautiful. The water crystal clear. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I can't wait to go back to where I can really explore it. I'm looking
Definitely.
forward to it.
Definitely. Now we gonna shift gears because you actually been to a continent in the area that it's getting popularity popularity now by digital nomads.
Mm-hmm.
But can you describe your experience in Bali?
Bali is breathtaking. I'm not gonna lie to you. Bali is beautiful all around, all the way around. The weather was beautiful. It's hot, but not Louisiana hot. Um, the people are extremely nice and welcoming. The food was not bad. I had a good experience with food. If y'all ever go the Three Monkeys, don't pass their restaurant. The Three Monkeys. Go run there. But I really enjoyed Bali. Bali was beautiful. I think I did everything in Bali. The only thing I didn't get to do in Bali was the floating breakfast, but everything else I touched. And y'all can find that on my Facebook at Jin as well. The temples, beautiful. I got my earrings snatched by a monkey at the monkey
I was
temple.
about to bring that up.
So, and they warned us. They was like, the monkeys are feisty. They like to eat. So if they think you have food or something, they're going to try to come after. But I didn't have food. I was legit just standing there trying to take a picture. And next thing I know, he jumped up in a branch and snatched that earring out of my ear and he was trying to eat it. I was like, Lord. But I didn't get it on camera. I caught the aftermath of it, of him eating my earring. But the koi fish, the Bali swing, the spa, the flower bed, the pool bed, everything you want to experience is out there. It's beautiful.
Man, shout
Beautiful.
out to the people that actually like set up those pools. Like that's
Yeah.
some talented ass shit.
Yeah,
Let me just
it
say that.
really
That's
is.
that's some talented ass shit for you to just put your body in there and fuck it up soon as you get in there. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of patience to have to just say you doing all this shit for them to just mess it up.
Yep. Soon as you step in there, it's done with pretty much. So, but it's beautiful. I will say it's very beautiful. I recommend it. I will say don't go if you don't have at least a week to spend. Don't go because the flight is pretty long. Our flight was like 28 hours, but we end up breaking it down into 3. So we flew from Houston. From Houston, we went to Singapore. From Singapore to Manchester. From Manchester to Bali. Totaling about 20. I think it was about 26 to 28 hours. So if you're a flyer, that can be a bit much. The
Yeah, for
jet
sure.
lag is no joke.
I'm gonna just add a recommendation right now. Like we both young, but
Mm-hmm.
listen to my listeners and my viewers. Don't sleep on compression socks
Oh, I
to go
definitely
that
have.
long, cause you can get blood clots, y'all. We
Yes,
young, but we can get blood clots from sitting
yes,
down that long. I
yes.
recommend wearing compression socks.
I did have mine on, by the
Yep,
way.
y'all do what y'all want, but guess what?
I
Shit,
had
you can call me
mine on
whatever
with
you want.
made sure. I made sure my sister
Mm-hmm.
and my cousins had theirs too. The jet lag is by far the worst. That was the worst experience of the trip. Other than that, Bali, I have nothing bad came from Bali. The people are amazing. They're so helpful. They're so welcoming. They believe in karma. So much so, like they don't do, or the people that we were surrounded by, even in the, because we went, in the streets and stuff, and went to the, I'm not gonna say villages, but the markets and stuff. We went out there. Everybody was so well. I caught the taxi by myself out there, because I had an appointment to the spa, so I had to get back to the resort. And when you by yourself, you can, especially as a young female, you tend to get nervous, but I didn't, because they're so welcoming, they're so helpful. They don't believe in karma. I won't say they believe in karma, so they don't believe in harming people, because they don't want that to come back on them or their family. And how they live out there, the guy told us, so like the men they keep their families with their parents. So like if you were from Bali and you got married, you would move your wife and your kids. Y'all would stay in the home with your mom and your dad, so you can take care of your mom and your dad. And if you
That's
have,
respect.
right, if you have siblings, and let's say your sibling got married to a woman who didn't have a brother, but y'all had other siblings, they would talk with the family to see if it's okay if your brother left your home to go and live with his wife and her parents, so they can take care of her parents. So it's a lot of love out there as well. Very affordable too.
Gotcha. Which you already leaned into my next question. How do you go about immersing yourself in the culture whenever you're in a different country? What are some of your ways to just, because one thing I noticed that you kept saying, local market, local market, local market. So that's
We
one thing you will do is find a local market
Yes,
for
yes.
sure.
I always try to do like a village or just there in town stuff, just to see how they live, to see how they cook. We visit to see what they're cooking on the streets, how they, just their everyday life. I want to see their culture. So I always try to do a tour or two that explains or shows their culture. Because I mean, why go to another city if I'm not seeing how y'all are living? What's the point in it? That's just my personal opinion. So every new country I do go to, I always try to do something in the culture, for the culture, just to
Gotcha.
get the experience, just to kind of see the difference, to see technically how good or how bad we're living, you know?
Mhm.
Because I'll say a lot of things, a lot of the food wise, you can taste the difference. You can tell it's not injected with a whole lot of steroids, and it's so much healthier. To us, is we have to adjust to it because we're so used to the food here, but out there, like it's a big difference in their food, but we know it's healthier.
Right. I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy. So shout out to Nick and Savannah.
Hmm.
That's one thing I love about traveling. You meet so many amazing people, and along the way, I've developed so many relationships with people, and I just want to give a shout out to them. They just recently got married in August, and I had a
Congratulations.
privilege to. I thank you, and I had a privilege to witness their love in Colombia and in Cali, Colombia, which is starting to turn into one of my favorite cities in Colombia. You talked about the food. You talked about just the natural taste of the food.
Hmm.
What's crazy is I ate my ass off when I was there, and I came back to America. I was 12 pounds lighter. So
Well, I
something,
ain't say I lost no weight. However,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I
I
could
lost
believe
weight.
it. I could believe it.
Yeah, the food is natural. Everything.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna just throw this out there. If you don't want to answer it, that's fine. But if you had to retire, like just the countries like you went to right now, or like a country that you haven't been to yet, like if you had to just call it quits today, like you know what, nomad life, business life, or even retirement life, right? Like
Hmm.
this the country I want to be in. For me, it's Colombia. It's Colombia. Colombia number one. Peru is number two. And I would say, honestly, I would say Costa Rica would be three for me, just because their infrastructure and like Central America is is
Hmm.
is pretty good. But for me, it's Colombia, hands down.
For me, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's Bali in Africa. Bali in Africa. I don't know. That's the hard one. I don't know, because I loved Africa too. I loved Africa. I kid you not. That Africa was hands down my best trip. But I also love Bali very much too. Bali is, they neck and neck. But Africa, I don't know. That's my number one. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't know.
How was the experience? I always like to ask this, especially
Hmm.
like because I haven't touched the motherland yet. How
Hmm.
was your experience? Like your feet finally hitting that soil, you're like, damn, I'm in Africa.
Listen, nothing like it. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Africa was hands down my best trip yet. I loved everything about Africa. I experienced the village, so we got to see, of course, we didn't see them actually building the houses, but we got to see how they build their houses, how they live in. They don't, the village we visited, and I think most villages are like that. They don't have bathrooms in their homes. So they use it in the bushes. Every morning for 5 o'clock, they're walking down to the river. That's where they take their bath. That's where they wash their clothes. The wives build the houses out of cow poo, mud, and something else. I don't remember the third.
Now, what country did you go to in Africa?
We went to Kenya. Oh God, we visited 3 different areas in Africa. Kenya. Don't Diane next. Kenya was the first part. Lord, I don't want to tell you no lie.
Nah, you good. You
I
good.
don't want to tell you no lie. But it was 3 different parts. But Kenya was part of it. We went to the safari part, Nairobi.
Yeah, Nairobi. Uh huh.
Is Kenya and Nairobi close by?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not that
Now,
close.
Nairobi is the main city in Kenya.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me on this because I don't remember verbatim, but um, we stayed in where the safari was. We actually stayed in the safari for 3 nights. So when I say the safari, I mean like a tent like house, kind of like how they live. We wanted
Hell
that
yeah.
experience. So we stayed in I'm going to call it a tent because to me, that's what it was. And I think that's what they actually call it. Like, is no air in there. But don't get me wrong. At night, it got so cold because that's how strong the wind was.
Mm.
Like, blowing hard. Like, we could hear the animals outside the tent, like that type of tent. But it was safe. I will say that because I don't want to steer anybody away from it. It was safe. We did the what's it called? I'm trying to use the proper terms for it. When we went through the safari to see the animals, I had a lion walk right by me. You could find that on my Facebook page too. I'm talking, but I could have literally, if I wanted to, I didn't. But if I wanted to, I could have touched his tail. That's how close he was to me.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with some.
One of the girls was like, touch him. I was like, shit, not me. And then they was in the middle of hunting because they were trying to teach their cub how to hunt. I said,
Yeah.
"Who they not gonna turn on me, baby? Don't worry about it. You got it." But that experience was none like no other. Again, the food out there, the best fruit I've ever had in my life came from Africa. I won't go back just for the pineapples. But I will say I'm not a fan of their ground meat. That's just me. Their ground meat I couldn't get with. Is a different texture, and it would probably be different had I told them to cook it well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a FYI for anybody that goes, cook it well. And I think that was the problem. Like the texture of it was different. But other than that, the food was pretty good out there as well, and I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed Africa. The views, because we did a hot air balloon as well, so we got to see.
Oh yeah, you got the full experience.
Yes, it was beautiful. We did a brunch in the middle of the safari as well. We got, like I said, the village, the museum, the giraffe. We went to feed the giraffes. I know that's a popular thing on TikTok too. Africa is beautiful, man. If you haven't been to the motherland, Africa, we are going back to Africa in 2026. The end of 2026, November 2026. Be on the lookout for that as well. Join us, man. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful experience in the motherland. It's truly like no other.
Man, let's shift gears. So let's talk about, and we talked about it. So y'all looking at the ones that's gonna be looking at this on YouTube, the ones that's gonna be hearing this. You looking and listening to what I consider a true hustler. I mean, you've been hustling since I've been knowing you since high school, and you've always been a hustler. I want to dive into your business. I want to dive into, your business is on the go with Jin. What made you, we talked about the mindset at the beginning of the episode, but what made you want to shift your business into the hospitality arena, into travel, into experience? I would call it an experience business
Mm-hmm.
because you're creating experiences for people. So, let's talk about your business. Let's dive into that.
Okay, so I honestly started traveling late. We did do like family vacations, with my parents growing up. Every summer we would go to like Florida, Alabama, like we talked about, Texas. But I didn't take my first flight until I was in college, and that was to Vegas. And I was terrified. I kid you not. To say I fly the way I fly now, I was terrified. But once I got those jitters out the way, I've been on go ever since. I've always just, since I started traveling, I love it. It's truly like my comfort zone, my safe place. So why not make money from it? Why not help people, make money from it? My cousin took me under her wing, thankfully. Shout out to Paris. Thanks, girl. I love you. So she's teaching me travel antics, and if y'all haven't heard about her, she showed me the way, or is showing me the way, because I'm still under her wing. I'm just an independent contractor under her. But all my learnings are coming from her. So I definitely have to give her a shout out, because a lot of this wouldn't be possible without her. It's just something that I've always loved. So why not turn your passion into money?
Yeah, definitely.
So why not? I was always booking a trip. So why not get paid from booking a trip?
Hmm. For sure.
Why not? So I don't know. The freedom, I'm chasing freedom. I kid you not, I'm chasing freedom. For me and my kids. Not just for me and my kids. Like, I don't want them to be in school with a job. I want them to be in school and be able to focus on school.
Hmm.
Worry about getting your degree if that's what they want to do anyway. If that's what they want to do. If that's what they want to do. But I'm praying and working to hopefully have them set up to where they don't even have to work if they don't want to. They can take over the businesses.
That's man. That's what it's about. It's about, it's a believing a legacy, and like I say, I know that's always been your mindset. That's why I just want to let people know, like, yeah, man, y'all watching and y'all listening to a true hustler. She got a children's book. She's into, on the go with Jin. When it comes to hell, sports betting, cryptocurrency. You know what I'm saying?
Me for the betting. I can't help y'all with the betting, but um, children's book, Baking with My Aunties, is available on Amazon. I've touched Airbnbs, which is I've stepped away from. I'm actually thinking about getting back into it and selling Airbnbs through my business. But I don't know. It's a
We
backstory
got to
to
talk.
that.
I got some international
Yeah,
plays. I told you.
we'll
I
talk
got
about
some plays. I'm just gonna throw that out there to people
it.
that are listening, and are those that are interested in investing into a potential hotel/hostel in Peru. Holla at your boy. I gotta
And
play. I gotta play.
um,
Oh, I
I,
gotta play.
if I'm in a position, I'm in. I'm trigger happy. If
I
I'm in a
gotta play,
position, I'm
man.
in.
I gotta
I'm in.
play. And when you talking about markets, one thing just to shift back to Peru for just a
Mhm.
second, I do recommend that people go to. A lot of people might think this is like a dangerous area, but it's an area called a shopping center, a marketplace called Gamara,
Mhm.
and that's a huge marketplace. That's where, just so y'all know, that's where Ralph Lauren Polo goes to get their fabrics for their polos, and all these brands that we wear, they get most of their material from Peru.
Yep.
So I also have connections as well. Actually, I'm going to be developing a vendor list, just from my relationships that I have with them, that I'll be putting out for people to be able to purchase and check out their vendors list as well. So
That's
we wanted
nice.
to throw that out.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Also, just to stir back to the business side, I teach a USPS government contract class as well. And I also sell on Amazon, and I teach a class on that as well. So hit me up if you're looking to make some extra money, man. I'm just throwing it out there. The ultimate hustler.
Y'all make sure y'all follow my girl. I'm gonna have our links. I'm gonna have our link to her book. I'm gonna have our link and everything in the show notes for y'all to check out as well. Even though we're gonna share this at the end of the episode, but I also want
Mhm.
to give you this time right now to how can people follow you, how can people support you on your social handles, and how can people, keep up with what's going on with Jen.
You can find me on Facebook at Jen, Instagram at natural underscore redbone, and on TikTok. I think TikTok is at natural underscore redbone as well. And Jen's is on TikTok as well. We'll have it on the handle for you just so it's make sure it's
I got
correct.
y'all in the show notes. I got y'all. I got y'all. I
But
got
for
y'all.
sure, I know for sure Facebook is at Jin Jin. And
I
my
got
business
y'all.
page, my travel page on Facebook is On the Go with Jin Jin.
Got you. Got you. I got two more questions I want to ask you.
All right.
The first one is travel hack. How do you go about? I know you have a travel business,
Mm-hmm.
but like for those like when you first started traveling, and you can talk about now if you want to as well, because maybe people may be interested. You already caught the era, but an opportunity to get into the travel business.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your ways to travel hack? And then it's a two-part question. What are some of your ways to travel hack? And then two, how do you go about finding out information about a country to kind of prep yourself before you get there?
Okay. So my travel hack has always been when I'm flying like in the country, in the United States, I do not pay for a seat or bag. They give you that free personal item.
Oh yeah,
Baby, get that duffel bag. Get that duffel bag and carry that as your personal item. And let them pick their seats for you unless it's already an option to pick it for free. Do not pay for them seats.
yeah.
Keep that free, baby. Keep that free. What was the second part?
The second part is how do you find information on a country like to prep yourself before you travel there? What are
Hmm.
some of your ways to find information, on a country that you visit?
So, like when I went to Peru, when I mentioned I went to Peru, there was a business call. I went to what they call Peru Travel Mart. This year, of course, was 24. So when I went there, I met a lot of vendors, people that own transportation companies, people that own the hotels, people that own the cruises, the cruise lines, I'll say, people that own businesses to put together itineraries for you, make sure your people get there safe, to and from. So that's how I went to one recently in September, I think, right before I went to Peru. I went to Austin, Texas, and I went to one for Africa. So I know I have hands-on connections with people in Africa. So even if I don't go on a trip, I know I'm sending my people to people that's going to make sure they're safe. They're not going to, they're going to make sure they're out of harm's way. Of course, we can't never tell what is coming our way, but they're there to try to make sure, they're returning home safely. So that's typically
Gotcha.
what we do. We try to get involved with those travel marts pretty much with different countries so we can have hands-on vendors to the countries that we're traveling to or sending our clients to.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And for last question, and this one, I want you to look right at the camera. And for
Mhm.
those that are listening, I really want y'all to tune in right now. For those, especially like where we grew up, right? And
Mhm.
people that may be on the fence, people that may be, their family hasn't, they're the first of their family to travel, just period, rather that be domestically or internationally,
Mhm.
at a high frequency. But we both know how travel changed our lives. But if you could give some advice to that person that's on that fence right now, that's debating on booking their ticket and booking their flight to travel to, you know, really anywhere that they're interested
Anywhere.
in, what advice would you give them right now to get them, to light a little fire under them to get moving?
Just go. My advice is just go. Even if you have to take that solo trip, just go. Your money will return, your time won't. That's my biggest advice to anybody. Go solo if you have to. Your money will return, your time won't. Don't let your life go by sitting in the same place. If you're not growing, you're not doing nothing.
That's facts. That's a fact. Well, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here first, man. My girl, I'm glad to have you on. I really
Thank
do
you for
appreciate
having
you
me.
for
I
coming on.
appreciate it. I appreciate
And again, I'm gonna make sure y'all I have all her handles, at the bottom. Y'all can check out everything that she brought up. I really truly appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you in the future as well on a few projects as well.
Of course, of course. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you for even considering me.
Definitely. Oh, I had to get you on. Shit. Yeah, I had to get you on, man. But y'all already know how we like to end it, man. I'll see y'all at the top because
Super.
the bottom is just too crowded. Peace and blessings.